People would be so invested in celebrities and their personal lives. Some even cry when something bad happens to their idols. The question is, why? Well, to know that answer, we are now connected with psychologist Maizan Dianati. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Great.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you so much for joining us this afternoon. So let's dive right into it. Lately, there are news about Indonesians and Western celebrities cheating or caught up in domestic violence. When netizens hear such news, they dig more information and even create their own opinions.
Yeah.
Why are they so invested in celebrities and their personal lives?
Yeah, well, naturally, people love to be associated or to like good things. And people see celebrities and influencers as the people who have great visual appearance, good and happy life, lavish lifestyle, and people are attracted to that. So that's why more and more people wanting to have more involvement in their life and want to be a part of them in general.
Okay, but some of them really takes the extra miles to
Yeah.
express the concern on social media as if they're so connected with the celebs themselves. Some even cry elaborately, when they read the news. Are those kind of expressions normal for someone they haven't met before? Or is it like they're living in a vague of a drama stage somehow, trying to feel like what happens with their idol's life?
It is actually related to a phenomenon called parasocial interaction.
Oh.
So this term refers to the tendencies for the audiences or listeners to think that they are the friend of this media personalities, despite having no or limited interactions with them. Although it sounds a bit eerie, but actually it is quite sensible for people to have it nowadays, since right now with social media, even the celebrities and influencers and their team wants to have more engagement to their audiences, which is their followers, and they use like curated posts which shows like certain happy life or happy persona that people love and want to see more. And sometimes they also use certain tools, such as the polls or the question box or asking them for opinion, which then create a fallacy in these followers' thoughts that their opinions really matter to them. So that's why they consider themselves as their friends or someone who is important for them, despite having no interaction in real life.
But does it have any impact, though, on the netizens itself? As you mentioned, they can somehow create a fallacy. So this is not something too educating, perhaps, or maybe will, I don't know, try to create a path in a certain way so that, well, at least there is a bond created between the idol and the fans themselves. But is there any impact?
So yeah, like it is great for engagement. People would feel that they are mattered. People who they love really acknowledge them. But yeah, like if it goes too far, of course, like it can create some kind of illusions where people really think that they are they are entitled to give loads of opinions, even the personal ones, toward this media personalities. Although actually it's not like that, right? Because like they only have like certain interactions as like as the actress or influencers and their fans. But since they have their these illusions that they are their friends, sometimes the interactions can go beyond that, and it's not something healthy in the end. And they can place also an irrational standard towards themselves because they only see great great persona of their idols there. So they think that if I am not like them, I won't be acknowledged by them, and I'm not happy. So yeah, like the bad implications is like that.
Right, interesting. So can you retell again what term related to the psychological term that you have mentioned before? Parasocial phenomena, or what is the term?
Yeah, parasocial interaction.
Parasocial interaction. So since you have mentioned about like netizens, let's say, for example, right now, just want to know the happy side of their idols. So when celebrities expose happy moments with their partners, netizens call them as couple goals.
Yes.
So meaning they compare their own relationship with that of the celebrity. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, because like once we are invested on some people, there is also another phenomenon that would kick in based on the psychological view, which is the social comparison tendency. So we tend to define our self-worth sometimes by comparing ourselves with others who we consider as the people who are more positive than us. This is good in terms of helping ourselves to define boundaries, which one is good and which one is bad. But again, if it goes too far, it can also create the illusion, as what I've mentioned before, since, okay, I follow this couple because I think that they are the relationship goal. So it means if I'm not like that with my partner, we are not happy. Although actually there are tons of definition of happiness, and it's not only related to this one happiness that's defined by this certain couple. And what can be interesting as well, sometimes the things that these people thought as the relationship goal, even in real life, this couple who have it not really have a very good relationship as they showed on social media, and sometimes people fail to see that. And when bad things happen, such as the recent thing that happened with this Indonesian couple, people would be very disappointed because it happens. Disappointment happen when people find that the reality is not aligned with their expectations. So that's why loads of people are crying or even showing loads of
they probably didn't know the long story,
responses. Yeah, that's true.
So you think that it is actually, like we can say, this kind of unhealthy condition for both sides, for the figure themselves, for example, and also for the netizen. What's your take on this? Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Because in the end, from the couple itself, from the public figures itself, of course, the positive ones, they have better engagement and they reach more followers because of that. But in the end, when things like this happen, because people think that they are their friends due to the parasocial phenomenon, they are more entitled as well to give responses to these public figures, although actually the responses itself is not like it's not a really wise responses to give. It's not a really wise response to give, such as the bullying or harassment towards the person that's doing something bad. Although yes, like we might have opinions on that, but is it really wise to give it to the people that you don't really know, or giving like unsolicited advices to these people, although actually you don't really know them? And it can be upsetting or frustrating as well for the public figures. And for the audiences itself, it's more relating to the things that we have been discussed. So they would have irrational terms of their happiness, and they would tend to compare themselves all the time with these people. And once it's not aligned with the reality, they would feel the unnecessary disappointment in the end.
Yeah, we can only imagine how big the burden is, especially for those in the under the lens, like the social media darlings or the celebrities themselves, because they carry a burden where they have to be perfect in front of their fans, right? But on the other side, the fans are so invested in the idols, and then they feel like everything is so perfect, they cannot accept any flaws. So how do you think we should be as a good netizen, for example? How can we limit ourselves so that we can not be that obsessed towards our idols, so that these things won't happen? Should we just like specific part, like we like their actings and all that, but not, wanting to dive into their maybe marriage life or personal life? How should we face this?
Yeah, first, maybe try to assure ourselves that the media is not aligned with the reality itself. So when we really like someone, yes, like of course, like we follow these people because we like their contents, right? But in the end, if it continues to be like that, and we already think that this certain people have like very perfect life, and we want to dig more into it, just try to take a step back and try to see, okay, like it's not reality. Reality is not as happy as it shows here, and it doesn't mean that if our life is not the same with that person, we are not happy or we are not good enough, because we are not like them. So, because in the end, what was shown in the internet as well, it's not like a realistic depiction of these people.
Yeah, because reality bites, don't you think? But we also see some social media darlings, for example, the ones who are so honest to their audiences, sharing the marriage life situation, like what you see on the pictures and on the video are not picturing the whole situation of my marriage. You don't know what's happening behind. Is that how a good way of conducting, you know, a content for social media, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Disclaimers like that would help people to manage their expectations, and yeah, like to construct like better kind of relationship between the audiences and also the public figures, so they know in the end, yeah, although like they can have like a very happy life sometimes, but they are still humans as well. So they are still prone to have imperfections in their life, and people cannot base their self-esteem based on what they see on in the internet. Yeah, I think it's a very good decision from these public figures who do it.
All right, psychologist Maizan, Dianati, thank you so much for your time. So now we know that we
you're welcome.
shouldn't take anything too personal and too seriously whenever we see our idols on the social medias.
Because it's staged somehow.
That's right.
And it's only the good things that are appearing in the media.
Maizan, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, hopefully we will have some more topics and we will discuss with Maizan as well, yeah?